Michael, that's a good result, especially losing the 2 early goals. What's it like immediately after the game?
We're happy. It's a good point. They're a good team. They're a fit team. They're quick. Owen here's a good manager, has them organised. So if I would have taken a point before the game, I'm very happy with the point.
Coming to Daly, it's obviously one of the toughest grounds to go to in the league, especially with the way Bohemians have been playing since the season started in terms of the EA Sports Cup League Cup essentially.
Yeah, he has them set up well. They're a fit team. They're strong. They play like Owen here. He played. They're quick. Yeah. They're fit. They're strong. They're hard to beat. They'll take a lot of points off teams. They'll do all right this year.
You both had a strong enough start in the first game, with 3-goal wins either side. But it was a very tightly contested game. You pressed them quite hard, but you definitely came into your own that second half.
Yeah, probably shouldn't have taken us till the second half to come into our own. That's something we have to look at. We started slow, gave them a 2-goal lead, sloppiness, and they took advantage. They're quick. They will take advantage. They'll be a good counter-attacking team, but we showed good spirit. We got the goal. Gary O'Neill got 2. So we went to the last minute, which typifies us. The last 3 years we've been like that.
You mentioned Gary O'Neill. For players in the dressing room, especially the young lads, it must be such an inspiration to have him back there and have him back scoring goals as well.
Yeah, he's a great player. Gary, for a team like us, Gary O'Neill is going to be priceless. He's a league winner, something to look up at. Him and Fabio, 2 lads up top, both league winners. They keep you going, It was great for him and great to see him on the score sheet. He's not known for his goals, but it was great to see him get 2 today, Hope he kicked on.
Finally, with Robbie as the full-time manager now, it's not a massive change from last year, but what's it been like all in all with him as full-time gaffer?
Brilliant. It's very good. That was the key to it. It wasn't a big change around. So we've a lot of the same players. We lost some players, but a lot of the same. And we brought in some good players. Even lately, there made some good signings.
And let's say probably it's a good result against what was a strong Drogheda team who got off to a great start last week, but probably feels like a loss the way that last goal came.
Yeah, it was disappointing. We gave 2 goals away. It was an okay performance. We probably had a little bit more, but we gave everything we had for today. Unfortunately, just didn't get us the 3 points. We were in a comfortable position. We had a chance to go 3-0 up, and then we gave away a poor goal when we were down to 10 men with the injury. So. That was disappointing, but we'll deal with it and we move on. We didn't lose the game. We take the positives from it.
Personally, for yourself, coming back to Bohemians after the spell at St. Pat's was what it was. Coming back and being thrust straight back into playing consistent first team games, it must be tough.
No, not at all. No, that's exactly the reason why I came back. It was didn't play enough games at Pat's. I was extremely disappointed, but I'm delighted to be back here. Delighted to be working on their own. Who was here as a player the last time, and nobody's liked, so that was one of the reasons why I came back.
What's Owen been like as the full-time manager now, as opposed to just the captain he would have been when you were a player here the last time?
It hasn't really changed much. He still does the same stuff that he would have been doing as a captain anyway. Which brought such success anyway. So it just carries on the same. He has the same principles and the same motives that we want to achieve, and we just had to put them out onto the pitch. Unfortunately, we gave away 2 poor goals tonight, which hopefully isn't going to be like us.
You mentioned his goals and stuff. What are the aims he has set in the dressing room? I mean, last year probably was just a blip for Bohemians. It looks like a squad that could definitely be challenging for some sort of honours anyway.
Well, that's up to us what we do with it. It's our determination of how far we want to go this season. So we'll just take it game by game, because we're disappointed today. Obviously, when you concede a goal right at the end, it's the thing that you come away with. But tomorrow we'll reflect and we can work on some of the positives that we got out of the game, and hopefully take away the negatives.
Alright, thanks very much. Ginny, that's a good few goals, but probably feels like a loss the way that game ended up.
It does, yeah. To be 2-0 up at home, and we thought we were comfortable enough, and then we got an injury and we were down to 10 men for about 10 minutes trying to get it sorted, and we conceded in that time, and 2-1 going in half time. We still fancied ourselves to go on and win the game, but yeah, it feels like a loss, especially conceding in the 89th minute, but still unbeaten, so we'll take the positives out of it. We'll go next week now. For
Bohemians and yourself personally, it's been a nice start to the season. With this game, you probably should have won against a very strong Drogheda team who beat Donagh 4-1 last week, and by all accounts, he really beat UCD last week.
Yeah, well, personally, I'm delighted to have started well, a few goals and all, but it's about the team, and we've started very brightly. A good win against UCD last week, and like you said, a strong Drogheda team here, 2-0 up at home. We really should have seen it out and got the 3 points at top of the league, but we'll take the draw, still unbeaten as I said, and Rovers next week will be a massive game for us and we look forward to it.
You mentioned Rovers next week. They've been on a nice enough vein of form as well. You know, they should have they beat Athlone 3-0. You know, they probably could have beaten Derry if they hadn't been so good defensively and if the conditions were a bit better. You know, they've been playing well as well as you guys. It's going to be your biggest challenge so far.
Yeah, well, everyone knows about Rovers. They're a quality, very good club, and it's no different this year. And obviously the rivalry adds a bit to it, of course. And like you said, a good 3-0 win at Athlone tonight. They should have bet Derry last week. It's going to be a great game. We're both on 4 points, and I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be a smashing game.
It's you mentioned the rivalry probably brings out the best in Shamrock Rovers as well in terms of the way that they go out and play, and it's sort of the team talk pretty much writes itself for Trevor Crawley.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. It brings out the best in both teams. You see how the fans get up for it, and it cheers up the players as well. You can, as soon as you walk out, the atmosphere is incredible, and we'll be looking to get 3 points like we did against them last season, and that's how it's set out. Yeah.
Finally, since you've come back to Bohemians, Owen here, he basically for the entire time was the sort of the interim manager, or he was basically behind everything that Bobby Brown was doing last year as well, and what is like now that he's fully the manager, is it a bit more settled than maybe last year with all the talk of the licence and stuff?
I think so, yeah. It's very settled. Everyone, he's the manager, and that's that, and he instills confidence in us, and everyone has respect for what he's done in the league, and he just tells us to go out and play and enjoy ourselves, and we're under no pressure on their own, and he's done a great job so far, like you're saying. So hopefully we will do well from this season now, and hopefully he does well in his managerial career.
Finally, when he was a player, he obviously set his goals very high, won a lot of trophies, and he's said before that he sort of models himself on Pat Fenlon when it comes to managerial wise. He's obviously won a lot of trophies, League of Ireland as well. The goals he's set in the dressing room must be high, especially with the squad you have this year.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, he expects the best out of us 100% every training session, every match, and like you said, he was with Fenlon for years. I'm sure he learned a lot from him and takes a few things from the years with him and brings them to us. So his experience is unquestionable, and we're gonna thrive under him, all right. Yeah, what he's done in the league, so he knows it inside out. So it can only be a good thing for us, All
right, thanks very much. Robbie, that start's probably less said the better, but you came back into that game and you played as well as you would have against Dundalk last week in the second half.
Yeah, less said about our starts the better, and we kept at it, we kept hanging in there, and I thought with the pressure we applied, especially coming in the last 20 minutes or so, we got our rewards, and Gary did great for the 2 goals, and delighted for him, but as a performance it was poor tonight.
Coming to Bohemians, coming to Dalymount, getting a point though, regardless of, as you say, it probably wasn't the best performance Drogheda will give this season, it's still a strong point to get.
It is, at 2-0 down, I was fearing the worst, and we just hadn't got into the game at all, and to come out here at the end of the day by getting a point, clawing back the 2 goals, as I said, from a result point of view, fantastic, a lot to work on the performance.
You mentioned you were fearing the worst. There were stages there when it was still 2-0, when Denny Corker missed the chance for the hat-trick very close in. It could have really been a disaster had that chance gone in. A few more for Bohemians as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, look, we could have been dead and buried in the first half, with the amount of chances that they created. We were second to every breaking ball. We just weren't at the races in the first half. So as I said, Gary chased down a lost cause there, and
fair play to him like that finish.
Yeah, absolutely. I think everybody thought it was going over the line, so for him to do that gave the rest of the lads a good boost as well.
It's been a good start from Drogheda, regardless of maybe the way you played, as I mentioned earlier on today, but 6 goals in the first 2 games against Drogheda and Bohemians, or against Dundalk, and Bohemians away. It definitely isn't a bad record.
No, it's not. We've got strikers that can score goals, strikers that have been around for a long time. We've Fabio, Gary O'Neill, brilliant strikers, and they'll score goals. But the one thing we wanted to shore up this year was our defensive record, and at the moment it's not where I want it to be, and that's something that we work on. Look, the team that wins the league isn't the team that scores the most goals, it's the team that keeps the most clean sheets. So we need to work in that area, we need to improve in that area, we need to know when to play in that area and when not to play, and we have to play percentages. We're still finding our feet a little bit, and we changed our shape tonight. We had a few injuries, a few suspensions, so look, I couldn't be happier with the result. I would have taken that before the game, but a lot to work on the performance end.
Alright, thanks very much. Oh, and that's it's a good result against the Drogheda team who went out and beat Dundalk 4-1 last week. But it probably feels like a loss the way that last goal came.
Yeah, it's just a bit of it was because of the fact that 2-0 up, cruising in the first half, and then a silly mistake, and they get back into the game. I think it gave Drogheda a little bit of momentum, and probably took the momentum away from us. But we thought we would have held out then come the second half. We didn't play as well as we can in the second half. But again, another mistake cost us the game.
Still think though that I'd probably be talking to you after a 4 or 5 goal win if Denny Corcoran had put away that chance to make it 3-0
yeah,
in the
he was
second.
Unfortunate in fairness to Denny, just as he was about to shoot, the ball took a bobble up and hit his shin and went over the bar or wide of the post. But he was unfortunate. Denny was great tonight. He scored 2 goals and he's working hard, and another day they got the hat-trick and we would have been sitting here praising him, but unfortunately he didn't get it. But it was down to 2 mistakes that that cost us the game. I mean, we were 2-0 up, we shouldn't have gave the goals away that we did, but you take it on the chin, and we haven't got beaten yet, we haven't been beaten yet, so it's a positive.
Denny, obviously he moves around a lot. He's young, energetic guy, and in comparison to Jason Byrne, they sort of seem like total opposites, and it seems like it's a nice swap to be able to make with, let's say, 10 minutes to go and bring on one of the top scorer the league has at the moment.
Yeah, no, Jay he's different to Denny, but again they're putting pressure on each other, and you can see by the reaction they're scoring goals, and it's pushing Denny on, and he's learning off Jay, and we have Kev Devaney who's come on leaps and bounds, with Paddy Kavanagh who can create, Stephen Beattie, so we have plenty of options up front, attacking options, and Jay, as you say, is a different entity. He doesn't have the legs like he would where he's running around the pitch, but he's clever in and around the box, and I think that's something you need when defences get a little bit tired, that Jay can do that. Or in bigger games that Jay will be there he'll hold the ball up differently and bring other people into play. So it's things that we've looked at, and we will use Jay a lot more probably through the course of the season. He's not just going to be 15 minutes every here and there,
this season you've got a nice bit of experience. We obviously just talked about Jay. You've got Craig Walsh as well. He was over on that TV show a few years ago at Inter Milan, and a lot of players like Paddy Kavanagh he was technically in the squad in the Europa League for Rovers. It's a nice experienced squad you have this year, along with a good bit of youth like Denny, we said.
Even the younger players have experience. The likes of Keith Buckley, Stephen Traynor, Ryan McAvoy, they're around 4 or 5 years. I think Ryan is the longest player here, so they have experience, and it's just trying to that they maintain the same experience week in, week out, the same mentality week in, week out, and if you can get that into them, they'll be a very good side. So it's important that we brought in the likes of Paddy, Jay, Ado, that'll bring these other players on, and you have then the total opposite end of the scale with Philly McCabe and Jack Memory and Jake Hoyle and Lee Whelan, so they're learning as well, so hopefully we'll have a good conveyor going throughout the season of the experience, really experienced, and the lads who are only gaining a bit of experience. So if we have that throughout the season, I think we'll have a decent squad and a decent push for things. Next
week, probably the biggest game you've had so far, Shamrock Rovers. It's going to be a massive game here, massive for the fans, massive for the team, and it's their first, as in obviously they've played against, as I mentioned, a strong Drogheda team, and UCD were no pushovers either, but it's their first proper test in front of what's going to be the biggest crowd they're probably playing this season.
Yeah, and I'm sure they're looking forward to it. That's why players sign here as well. They want to play in those derbies, and next week will be no different. It'll be a big test for them, but also I think it'll be a big test for Rovers, because I think we've a good blend of youth and experienced players that can give them a game, and I said hopefully that any team that comes here, the players will know that they've been in a game. I'm sure as Drogheda tonight, they know that they've played in a tough game, so hopefully we can do that again next week.
Alright, thanks very much.